Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm excited to talk about Sosuke Aizen and how I wish there'd been more of him in Bleach. Bleach was the first anime I watched knowing what anime was. It was also the first manga I ever read. My first anime were Bleach, Death Note and Eureka 7, so I've always had good taste. I kind of want to make a video on Eureka 7, so let me know in the comments if you'd like that. The other day I randomly saw a clip of Aizen being sealed and it got me thinking. I really wish we'd experienced more of him during his time as the main villain on Bleach. Of course, his presence is always felt. The gang spends so much time battling his minions and he is seemingly the puppet master of the entirety of the universe. Everything was his plan all along. Probably even this video. I really wish we'd experienced more of him leading up to his descent from Hueco Mundo into the fake Karakura town. And even as Sosuke Aizen, Honorable Captain of Squad 5. I think focusing on the Arrancar and Espada instead of Aizen, Tosen and Gin is meant to build tension. If his underlings are so strong, what is he going to be like? And that does happen. They are all built up quite a lot, but we didn't necessarily have to see them fighting. Just something more than ordering around the Arrancar and sporadic updates on the Hogyoku. He's such a brilliant mastermind, and I would have liked to see him do something to really mess with them. And by them, I specifically mean Ichigo, Uryu, Chad, and the Earth Gang. In the execution arc, Ginjo destroys Ichigo at the soul level, leaving him lost, broken, and hopeless. I know many people dropped off of Bleach before this arc, and I understand why you do it, but if you haven't watched it, you should, just for the emotional journey Ichigo goes through. I would have liked Aizen to do something similar, something psychological and manipulative. Just because he can. Because he obviously enjoys messing with people. Just look at what he did to Momo. I'd say that when he leaves the Serete, the Shinigamis are left questioning reality and if anything they believe to be true actually is. They all just thought he was this wonderful, kind captain of Squad 5 with unusually gentle eyes. Gosh, can you imagine how betrayed they were when they found out how hot he truly is? All that time, they had no idea this smoke show was a simple hairstyle and accessory change away. By the time we as the viewer are clued into the situation, his grand master plan is already moving on to the next stage. I would have liked to see Aizen play mind games in real time. And yes, I know he snatches Orihime to lure Ichigo and the others to Hueco Mundo, but more than that. More than that and way before then. I wanted them to struggle to even believe they could win this fight. Before the fight happens, not while it's taking place. Because that does happen to Ichigo, right? He sees Aizen easily wipe the floor with the squad captains, even putting Yamaji on his ass. And his faith in himself and his own strength falters. When Ichigo finally faces off with Aizen, he's like, even your birth was part of my plan. Which, in my opinion, isn't totally true. He was definitely watching Ichigo and his sisters to see if anything interesting was going on with them. But he didn't make Ishin, a captain-level Soul Reaper, fall in love with Misaki, Ichigo's mom, a Quincy. It was just his luck that his weird-ass Hollow attacked and combined with a Quincy, making the Kurosaki kids Quincy, Soul Reaper, and Hollow. So Ichigo's birth wasn't part of his plan, but part of his experiment. Of course, this information throws Ichigo off his game and shows off Aizen's ability to be both a physical and psychological fighter, which he does multiple times during this battle. So I guess what I'm saying is I would have liked more personal build-up between Aizen and Ichigo. We see way more personal build-up to Ichigo's fights with Grimmjow and Ulquiorra. But then, I can also see the other side where Aizen is not just Ichigo's enemy. He's the enemy of the world and the whole of Soul Society. Hence the captains and lieutenants and Vizard assembling to battle him. And they have way more of a personal beef with him, as we see with Shinji taking center stage to fight him. Aizen destroyed his life and he wants vengeance. He doesn't get it though. Shame. He gives Aizen a warm-up before my lord continues with his day. I didn't really like Shinji, to be honest, but I did feel sorry for him. I didn't really like any of the Vizard, but Kensei is super hot. Speaking of hot, I enjoyed the slow transformation Aizen undergoes because of the Hogyoku. From a purely aesthetic point of view, I wasn't the biggest fan of the really hollified Aizens, especially the one at the end where his face is like pushed back to reveal this black skull type thing. Now this is not a criticism, it's just me missing Aizen's handsome face. In terms of storytelling, this massive transformation is excellent and shows the severity of what Aizen has done to himself. I liked the version of him that walks the streets of Karakura Town. Still handsome, but it's clear something is going on with him. Bleach really is a show that gives us a lot to look at. Lots of interesting character designs and transformations. I think Kubo's talent for making interesting characters sometimes works to the detriment of the story, but that's a topic for another time. My favorite Aizen is when he comes unraveled. Throughout his battles with the captains, with Shinji, Urahara, Yoruichi, Isshin, he is never afraid that he might lose. Afraid isn't even the right word. The possibility of loss doesn't even register to him. He exists in a state of complete certainty and fearlessness. No way could he lose. No way any of these maggots could come remotely close to him, a god. They couldn't even when he was just a Soul Reaper. And once he fully meshes with the Hogyoku, there is simply no scenario in which victory is not his. But then, now you feel like number one, shining bright for everyone. I don't think I've ever said this before, but I really like Ichigo Kurosaki and I think he makes a great protagonist. My man Ichigo is very cool in this moment. And Aizen loses his cool. Look at his face as he's being bound, the rage, the fury in those eyes. Even as it takes him, he is in disbelief. Just listen to his voice.
You won't be able to seal me off with this level of keto! What? Bakana. そんなわけがあるか。そんなわけが。裏腹キスケ。私はお前を別除する。A victor should speak of how the world should be, rather than how the world currently operates! I refuse to accept a world ruled by that thing! I am a victor! I shall decide how the world should be!
I shall decide how the world should be. Can you imagine living your life with that opinion of yourself? No wonder he was patient enough to enact a plan over the course of decades and centuries. And the way he's tearing at the seal as it's binding him, he's like fighting till the last moment. Ah, gosh, man! Even now it gives me shivers. And he looks so very handsome in his defeat. I almost didn't want him to lose. I don't disagree with his fate, but that last bit made me want to have one of those endings where the bad guy realizes the error of his ways and decides to repent and make friends again. Well, not again in Aizen's case, but for the first time. But then, who knows what effect a couple thousand years will have on him? Maybe he'll be cool when his sentence is up. Or maybe he will keep getting stronger and angrier until he's able to break out of those seals and have his revenge. Anyway, thanks for watching this video that wasn't really about anything in particular. I've had Bleach on the mind since I went to this local anime convention. Well, convention might be too big a word, like a get-together. And I bought this old school season 1 poster of Bleach, and that made me really happy. I cosplayed as Makima if anyone is interested. No, I'm not gonna post a photo. Do me a big favor, like this video, subscribe and share. Leave a comment if you'd like to talk about Bleach. I'm Kayla, and see you in the next one. Bye!
Kisuke Urahara, do you know how much I despise you?